Why I stopped comparing my baby's development after 15 months of anxiety. That moment when your friend's 8-month-old starts crawling and your 10-month-old is still scooting on their bottom. The panic that grips your chest as you frantically Google, "When should babies crawl?" at 2 a.m. I spent 15 months in that anxious spiral, and I'm going to share what finally freed me, because it might just save you from the same pain. I'm Sarah, and it took one powerful moment in my pediatrician's office to realize I'd been stealing my own joy. I was showing her videos of my son Aiden, but instead of celebrating his infectious laugh or how he lights up when he sees a dog, I was asking, is it normal he's not stacking blocks yet? My neighbor's baby is younger and already building towers. My doctor put down her tablet, looked me straight in the eyes, and said something I'll never forget. "Sarah, you're missing the beautiful child right in front of you because you're too busy looking at everyone else's children." The truth hit me like a wave. I had spreadsheets tracking milestones. I was in 5 different parenting groups comparing notes. I had turned motherhood into a competition that nobody, especially not my sweet baby, had asked for. Let me tell you about the day everything changed. Aiden was 15 months old. I had just left a playdate in tears because all the other babies were walking confidently while Aiden was still cruising along furniture. I came home, sat on my kitchen floor, and finally admitted to myself, this comparison habit wasn't helping Aiden develop faster. It was only making me miserable. I picked up my phone to do my usual anxious Googling when a message popped up from my grandmother back in Jamaica. It was a voice note, and in her wisdom, she said, "Every tree in the forest grows at its own pace, but they all reach for the same sun. Your boy is growing his own way in his own time." Something clicked. I deleted my milestone tracking app that very moment. Did you know that the developmental milestone windows experts give us are incredibly wide for a reason? The range for walking is anywhere from 9 to 18 months. For talking, it's even wider, but we parents zero in on the earliest possible age and panic when our child doesn't hit it. I started researching the science behind child development. Did you know Einstein didn't speak until he was 4? Or that some cultures don't expect children to walk until much later than we do, and their children develop just fine? In parts of the Caribbean where I'm from, there's much less emphasis on when a baby reaches specific milestones. Here's what I learned about comparison that changed everything. First, comparison steals your present joy. I was so focused on what Aiden wasn't doing that I missed celebrating what he was doing. He had this amazing way of solving problems, finding creative ways to reach toys that were out of reach. But I couldn't appreciate that because I was too worried about him not walking yet. Second, all that anxiety affects your baby. They pick up on your stress. There were times Aiden would look at my worried face and his smile would fade. I realized my anxiety was actually interfering with our bond. Third, and this is important, your child is not behind. They're exactly where they're meant to be on their unique journey. Think about it like this. Does a mango tree worry that the pineapple beside it grows differently? They're entirely different plants with their own timelines. When I stopped comparing, something magical happened. I started seeing Aiden, really seeing him, maybe for the first time. I noticed how persistent he was, how determined, how he loved music and would bounce to any beat, how his eyes lit up when he made a discovery. I started documenting these beautiful moments instead of milestones. And when Aiden did start walking at 17 months, I wasn't relieved. I was simply proud. It was his moment, on his timeline. I know some of you might be thinking, but what if there really is a problem? That's valid. Trust your instincts as a parent. If you're genuinely concerned, talk to your doctor. But there's a difference between watchful attention and anxious comparison. So, what can you do if you're caught in the comparison trap? Here's what worked for me. I limited my time in parenting groups that triggered my anxiety. Instead, I joined groups focused on play and connection rather than development. I reached out to my grandmother and elder women in my family who reminded me of the wisdom of generations, that children grow in their own time. I created a joy journal where I wrote down one amazing thing about Aiden each day, not what milestone he hit, but something about his unique personality. I practiced redirecting my thoughts. When I caught myself comparing, I'd immediately name 3 things I loved about Aiden exactly as he was in that moment. Listen, we're bombarded with images of advanced babies on social media. There's pressure from every direction, but remember this, that child doing algebra at 3 isn't the norm. They're the exception that gets views and clicks. The real measure of successful parenting isn't how quickly your baby reaches milestones. It's the secure attachment you build, the love they feel, the confidence they develop in their own abilities. If you want more practical tools for breaking free from comparison anxiety, I've created a comprehensive guide with journal prompts, affirmations, and developmental information that puts milestones in proper perspective. The link is in the description below. Your baby's timeline is perfect because it's theirs, and you're doing an amazing job exactly as you are right now. Like my grandmother said, every tree grows at its own pace, but they all reach for the same sun. If you found this helpful, hit that like button and let me know in the comments what comparison trap you've fallen into and how you're working to break free. And if you need more parenting wisdom with a Caribbean touch, subscribe to Yardie Baby for new videos every week. Much love to you and your little ones.